Good morning, and I hope you've been well, and this is part 190 of the Pokemon Rejuvenation V13.5 Let's Play. Set mode, no items, so yeah. So before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to say real quick that this will be the third and final side quest for the 3 Protectors of Vivian quest, being Vivian's Regrets. The first one, of course, we did was the, Heart of Iron. The second one was Andrew's quest, and then of course the third and final one here being Vivian's Regrets. After that, just to give a small reminder on the other quests that we plan to get into and the other videos that I want to get accomplished on this series here. We plan to, after this one, get into Missing Children. That will probably be 2 to 3 episodes to complete that because it's a very lengthy side quest, and that one is still an ongoing one, just to say that real quick. Xenogene movie quest, that's going to be done after Missing Children, and then after that I think that's honestly it for the main quest. There are a few other videos that I plan to do. It won't be immediately done, it will take some time, but I again want to redo the Spacia and Tempa battle without using Yawn because of the one bug and whatnot that kept happening to me. At some point I will farm some black prisms to do the Necrozma event, so there will be a short video on that at some given point, and then a theory video going over Madam X's identity, Team Zen's goals, and a mix of other random stuff probably, so Alright, so I think that's pretty much it on that little explanation there. Let's get us started with this. Now, I hope I get this right. I do believe that the location to start this is within the sanctuary. Actually, can I don't remember if that actually can take you to the sanctuary. I think there's a different way. I guess we'll find out. And I do apologize if I... Oh no, yep, it's over here, not over there. Right, again, I do apologize if I get a little bit mixed up with this one. It's been a long while since I've done any of these quests, so please do keep that in mind. It's kind of odd. I thought I got myself an Avian Paris. Maybe it just kind of respawns there over time. It's not really important, but I'm kind of curious. I could have sworn I did. Yeah, I did get one. So, yeah, I guess they just kind of respawn over time or something. Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere down here. And I gotta say, it is kind of interesting being back down here again, especially with it being, you know, so different than what it used to be during like V12 and some of the older... Actually, I think during V13 it was, you know, the same as V12 as well, but yeah, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the first ever video that I made was for that one puzzle that is no longer a thing, so yeah. Looks like something emerged from the earth here. Let's see if I can find where to go. I don't think it's over here. Right, that's where we did the Groudon battle. And I guess their bodies just kind of stay there, I guess. Okay. Right, there's a fire here. Happy, Venoms, Seviper. It's got to be somewhere around here. I just don't remember where. Alright, as I'm trying to find my way through here, because again it's been a while, in order to start this quest, I think I brought it up before, you will need to have completed Karmaphile's main story, and please make sure that you have a good leveled team here. I don't remember if there is a boss battle for this one. Actually, yes, there is a boss battle, but if I'm not mistaken, it's a unwinnable battle. You're not meant to win it, so I think I was told like a few years back whenever I recorded this, video years ago on the main series, that you get a different prompt if you like run away or something like that. I guess we'll see if that is true or not. But anyways, I don't know if this does anything, but I guess we'll activate that there with a dragon type. Salamence, Lucha, Latios, beware. So again, kind of symbolizing a few things here. Oh, here we go. I don't know if I'm doing this right, because... Okay, so it's a little bit different. There's not like a Registeel statue then. I guess you activate the crystals then to start up the thing? I mean, I guess. I'm ready. Vivian, admin shall be watching your progress today. Yep. You look reserved by this. Speak, child. I just don't understand why I have to learn how to battle. There's no one down here but me. This sanctuary shall not be your home forever. There will come a day where you shall be exiled, cast out into the world above. The world is nothing like the world below. The world before. It is full of all types of life, including life that yearns to end yours. If you do not learn to fight in combat with Pokemon, you will not survive. You keep saying the world above. I don't know what that means, but in the end, it means I can't stay here. I will have to make it for myself elsewhere. Correct. Fair enough. I don't want to be here anyways. New quest discovered. Okay, so I guess we kind of follow along a little bit then. And I guess we're going to be looking for these crystals then. Now, actually, let me at least look up here. Was there any up here? Yes, there is. This room, what is the purpose of it? These are pieces of the trials that are no longer in use. The same ones we used to test your earth sense. So, if you remember, a lot of these were a part of the older version, so it's kind of unique, because I brought it up before, that to me it kind of feels like the game itself, as, Jane updates and changes stuff, it kind of works with the story, how it's always like adapting and changing and whatnot. You don't quite remember it, but once upon a time this was relevant, but it no longer is. I know I kind of worded that weird, but I think some make it the point where I'm coming from with that. The same ones we used to test your earth sense. The meanings behind these pieces have long been torn away. Why not just destroy them then, if they're useless? There is a use for everything, even items that are no longer viewed as important. It is possible that admin may find meaning behind these constructs and use them for future test. I'm sick of tests. I'm sick of this place. Do your best in your trials, and soon one day you will be freed from this place. Is that true? I wonder. Sometimes I just don't know with you. You push me to my limit. You impair my abilities. Oftentimes it just feels like, if I read that all wrong, probably, sorry. Oftentimes it just feels as if you are having fun with my torment. Negative. We harbor no feelings or pleasure from your resentment of us. In fact, it is not beneficial to either party. We should learn to get along. Easy for you to say. Vivian, what are you doing? Why are you attacking us? I heard it all. My progress has nothing to do with the time I spend in here. You intend to keep me trapped down here for 12 more years. I can't take 12 seconds of this place. The air is suffocating. I have no friends. I'm all alone down here. We will release envoys when they reach the age of 20. You are only 8. How do you expect to survive in a world of adults? It is impossible. I may be 8, but I can find my own way. Kadabra, Psychic. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the pause there. Had I guess a delivery guy come on over. Anyways, I guess we'll go this way then. Okay, so that is blocked off, so Maybe we need to find another one of those podiums. Okay, so we activated that already. I know what, there was that dragon one, so... probably another one somewhere. Have we done this one? I don't think we have. Admin, Vivian has shown immense amounts of growth. She has just recently turned 8 but has displayed intelligence greater than our older units. These results prove that our methods have been working. Query, however you pronounce that. Does admin not consider the negative effects of her rapid growth in intelligence? Normal envoys do not question their existence in a sanctuary until they reach the average age of 15. Vivian has started to question things already, and her vernacular is impeccable. The council senses danger. Unprecedented events have unprecedented results, and ultimately what we require are just as such results. I have high hopes for Vivian. You have already started this quest. Okay, so I did accidentally forget to activate that one then. Okay, so there's this down here. I think I've actually already... I'm almost certain I've done this puzzle before. And it is kind of interesting how this Happy has like a really interesting face, almost like a scarecrow kind of face. But I'm almost certain I've done this before. And I don't think that has anything to do with the quest in particular. At least I don't think so. And I don't think this puzzle really has anything to do with it either. As you know, these statues are identical to the ones in the room adjacent to this one, but you are not allowed to study this room normally to come to a conclusion. You want me to use my earth sense, right? That is correct. You are the one with the ground itself. You are one with the ground itself. Sorry, I think I read that wrong. You must use your heightened senses to locate the positions of the statues in this room and then apply it to the next. Feeling their positions with your senses should prove to be easy. However, each statue in this room has unique intricacies that differentiate themselves. You must be able to recognize these intricacies in order to place each statue in the correct position. Why are you telling me this, Council? I've done this many times now, I understand. Repetition solidifies knowledge. Today you must complete this challenge in less than 5 minutes. Failure to do so will result in no food again. Do you understand? I do. Then please make your way to the other room. The council will rearrange the room once more. I'm probably doing all of this out of order, and if I am, sorry. Oh, there's another one here. Oh, and a podium. Oh, I guess we've already activated that one. Her progress is impressive. She seems to remember the blocks in the other room. We did not expect such a development until she turned 13 years of age. Yet this 8-year-old has already begun to master her earth sense. She is a prodigy, a welcome development. And she... done. Done already? The difficulty of this room does not match my ability. Even though the statues in the other room change daily, I am still able to complete it in less than 2 minutes. My first attempt was 4 minutes. Excellent work, Vivian. You may return to your chambers. Not yet. Please proceed to the next testing unit. We must keep the momentum if we want her ability to evolve. As you wish. Okay, so I don't see anything in here. I don't think we're meant to be outside in that area. I think we're meant to stay in here. Have I done this one? I don't think so. I suppose I should get out of bed. Admin is going to get upset with me if I don't start my exercises. I can't go without food for another 3 days. How are you feeling? This place feels suffocating. My headaches have been getting worse. I don't know what's going on with me. I see. Then things are going as expected. Your symptoms are effects of the increase of pressure in the sanctuary. Increase in pressure? Why is that happening now? It is a phenomenon I have constructed. You're the one doing this to me? Recently, your performance has exceeded our expectations by tenfold. As a result, we have chosen to impair your abilities for higher success rates. You're punishing me for doing well. I thought you wanted me to be successful. Affirmative. However, based on your results, we can push the bar even further. Your training can prove to introduce new abilities we have not even considered. Tomorrow shall be your impairments to the test. Shall put your impairments to the test, sorry. I think I read that wrong. This place is no sanctuary. It is my prison. Okay, so once you've gone through all of the prompts there, that's when it opens then. Okay. Wait, what is it? With water. Okay, I will grab a water type then. I guess we'll go Swampert. Okay, so there's one over there then. I guess real quick, I think we can read the journal. Read the entry. I'm writing down my thoughts because I need to, okay? I have little memory of myself when I was a child. The council said that I was born out of the soil out front of the king's domain. According to him, every 100 years a child is born from that soil. As a baby, they would emerge from the earth itself and grow into a being, an envoy. The envoy is supposed to hone their earth sense and battle proficiency. Then, when they reach a certain age, they cast out into the real world. They're cast out, sorry. Now, I do want to write the word envoy just so I don't forget. Envoy Vivian. Okay. I don't know what you're supposed to do once you're there, but admin makes it sound horrible. But even still, I can't stay here either. This place is torture. I wish someone would save me. And then I guess we'll kind of head on back to the start then. I gotta say, it really is like an interesting, you know, life that Vivian had to endure and live. Like, I don't know, like imagine just being just like born from the ground and you're just trapped down here for 20 years doing all of these really insane tasks, and if you fail you don't get to eat anything, and it's the same thing just over and over and over. How long do you intend to keep this up, Vivian? You won't leave me. Sorry, you all won't let me leave, so I'm doing this my way. Kadabra and I have destroyed all of your precious counsels. All that's left is you, admin. How curious. Your training is incomplete. You have no knowledge of the world above. Yet, you feel no fear, no hesitation. Fear doesn't matter. I have to live my life the way I see fit. Being trapped down here is no way to live. Could it be possible that the world above is familiar? It is as I thought. Then you know what you are, your past, the envoys before you. It would be incorrect to assume that you have their memories. In fact, it would be more accurate to say that you have inherited their instinct. They yearn for the world above too, cherished it in fact. But the sanctuary will always be your home, in life and in death. Enough of this, Cadabra, psychic. May I stand next to you? You don't seem to be scared of me. I knew you were coming. Ah, your earth sense is amazing. I destroyed them all. So you did. Now what? I wanted to leave. So why haven't you? I'm scared. Of the world above? Of myself. When I thought the council's an admin, it began out of the will to be free, but as soon as I fought them, I noticed that I enjoyed causing them harm. I never held any hatred towards either the councils or admin. I just wanted to be free. So why did I enjoy hurting them? Am I even fit to go to the world above? Will I harm others? Those feelings of hatred and bloodlust towards them are not your own, but a conglomerate of feelings towards them from past envoys. I still don't quite get what that means. How would it be possible for me to feel their feelings? Perhaps it is simply solidarity, however you say that word correctly. Perhaps it's something even deeper. Alas, their time has come and gone. It is your turn to see the sun. You cannot stay here any longer, but before we leave, there is one final thing we must do. Come with me. You come too, Alon. I guess we'll go on ahead and follow. You know, it's even like interesting after going through all this and having that, you know, vision with Vivian Imra. It really is like incredible just how powerful she is, that she's like, even through that, she's like, yeah, I kind of see you there. Come on. You may want to see this for yourself. Just something kind of cool. Alrighty. Reflect light off the crystal with the dark light mirror. The crystal shattered. Now, I think I brought it up before. If I didn't, I'll re-say it again. Of course, can't do this until you've beaten Karma File's main story. I think I said that earlier. And then just make sure that you have a well-balanced and level team. I know I brought that up multiple times, but... Now, I don't remember if it's a tricky battle. Now, I know there's one with the, I think like Registeel or something like that, that you can't win, but I don't remember. I mean, I think there is one with Vivian, but again, I don't quite remember. The statue's emanating a strange energy. It looks surprisingly pristine. I never knew this place existed. Where am I? The depths of the sanctuary, what lies below the mist. It is here where an envoy is Christen with their familiar. Vivian, listen to me. Although you'll be free, your hardships won't end here. There are people in the service that know about the envoys. The moment you step foot outside of this protected chamber, you will be hunted. However, I am willing to make a deal with you. A deal? If you choose to follow my path and work with me, I will give you protection for as long as I am able to. But know this, even with my protection, you will be in danger. You will be at risk of death, often too, but you will be in better hands with me. This sounds like a choice, but it's not really. It's not that I don't find the appeal in your deal, but I like to see the world through my own view for a little while. And even if that means I die in the process, that would be because of how I chose to live my life. So you refuse. For the meantime, yes, but perhaps in the future, our paths will cross again, and then I will let you know my decision. Yes, of course, if that is your wish. Then before we depart our separate ways, let us call your familiar Reggie Rock. Wait, I must have done something wrong. Do we reactivate that again? Oh, no. I must have done something wrong. Hold up. Okay, maybe up here. Again, apologies, it's just been a while since I've done this. No? Let's go back over here then. Oh. I see. Something in the room has changed. Then it must be after this then, because I don't know why, I remember a battle afterwards, or at some point. Either way, we'll kind of just go through this until we get the shiny. I gotta say, I know I've been a little bit more quiet this episode. I don't know, it's just, it's a lot to take in with just, you know, going through what Hazuki has went through, going through what Anju went through, and now seeing, you know, Vivian's story as well. It's just, you know, an unfortunate life, but to be fair, in order to, you know, be stronger, you know, like making, you know, a blade, you gotta go through the fire. You gotta go through, you know, some really terrible situations in order for growth to happen. In some cases, you know, it, you know, breaks them too much and that's that. But with some, if you're, you know, good, wise, and smart enough, you use that for growth. You use that to better yourself, to be stronger. Mentally, physically, spiritually even. If you're one for religion, so yeah. I guess we'll do a few more of these and then I'll just pause until let's do this. Okay. It is kind of neat with like Regirock though, how the shiny, it still kind of kept that purple, voice crack there. Similar to like Vivian, Talia, and Elita's like, you know, kind of like hair color. I kind of want to check the others because I think they're kind of similar in some way to their, to like the other like protectors of Avium is what I'm trying to say. I think. I don't really know. Maybe it's just Regirock though. There we go. And we'll name you Vivian. Alon. There is one last secret to this sanctuary that you must uncover. Hidden behind the final seal, I shall unlock it for you. Then you will find out the truth. Save here real quick. Right, I did want to look at the others. Not really. I guess it's more so with you with the purple. Because, I mean, I guess you can say Registeel is kind of similar to, like, Hazuki's, like when she's older, like her attire, I think is kind of like that kind of color. I feel like it's like kind of like the attire. I feel like I worded that weird. That's okay. You know me, I do that a lot. But Registeel doesn't really... I can't think of much unless... I mean, I know I'm stretching with this. I really am. I'll just stop before I go any further with that. I like the, you know, find those little like hidden like meaning kind of stuff, you know? Go no further. I worded the word, sorry. I will not allow you to reach the terminal. I had not wished to intervene, but my hand has been forced. Weren't you destroyed? How are you here? Weren't you destroyed? I was destroyed by Vivian over half a century ago, but the truth in the matter is, I am something that cannot be destroyed through such means. It is true that Vivian laid waste to my prior body, but as you can see, I am here before you, Alon, Interceptor. Allow me to enlighten you. What are envoys? Who are you? Who is hunting envoys? Nothing. What are envoys? Envoys are being sent to us by the Earth. Now, remember how Varaya, the Garufans, the people that worked on the system well below the Earth, I assume in some way, shape, and form, that system that was made by them also connects to these envoys, that at some point every 100 or whatever years it was, a new person is birthed from the earth, from the soil, and they go through this task as Her Majesty wanted. Of course, that being Varaya. Souls brought to life through the king's blessings have a particular connection to the planet itself. Their purpose is to be born, trained, and shipped into the world above. Then using their own earth sense, they can spread the message of incoming disasters. It is through our envoys that humanity has escaped apocalypse, if I could speak, time after time. Ultimately, their job is to prevent mass death or the possibility of extinction. Allow me to enlighten you. And that's something that's interesting because, like, we've talked about it before, that during chapter 13, where Alexandra was talking about, we believe that there came a point that the world was reset. It's happened before. And connecting that to what I'm about to say now, it tells me there are other disasters that may have been unknown to to time. Think of all the countless envoys that had to do these kind of things up until we came into the picture. How many situations have happened? How many disasters has happened? How many, moments did the world come to almost being completely extinct? And in this way, the system is like, this prevents that. Just something that's kind of interesting. I don't want to say like it's 100% a prevention, but it's an action taken to prevent that. Whether it does or doesn't work, that's, that's just that. I don't know what else to really say to that. Who are you? I am Admin, once just a human of an ancient Garufan civilization, the Tevari. We dwell deep within the Earth's crust and over time evolved to become connected with it. The voice of the Earth lives within each and every Tevari. That's interesting, so I do want to make a note of that. So Tevari must be one of the other nations then. Because if I would have to guess, it's not just the Garufans that were highly advanced. I would assume other nations had really insane technology as well. Tevari is within... I'm wording this wrong, or writing this wrong. Voice of Earth. Lives within every Tevari. And with it being like a golden text, I feel like that's really important for some reason. Now, I do want to pull up... I do have the region map of Old Earth. Does it show Tevari on the map? You won't be able to see it, but... I don't see a Tevari, but I see like a T-O-R-V-E-B-U-B-Y-U-E-N. Maybe that's it? Torvenbuen. Okay. Because like at the map I'm looking at, you have Ascilia, some name that I'm not even gonna try pronouncing, or Vivian, and then something that starts with a letter A that I'm not gonna try pronouncing. So I assume the one with the T is the one for Tevari. One day it was foretold that the Tevari would be wiped out by an assailant, a destiny that cannot be avoided or stopped. Or maybe Tevari is something different, maybe like something that happened after Old Earth's story. That also could be a thing as well. And thus the Tevari put in a plan to continue our lineage and job of protecting the Earth even after past our death. My soul, chief of the Tevari, and the highest diplomats, the councils, were placed in several hundreds of effigies. We would continue to raise children to become envoys and protect Earth from an imminent disaster. Allow me to enlighten you. Who is hunting envoys? Death itself is the natural enemy of the envoys. A being that seeks death grows wary at one trying to prevent it. It is nothing more than the cycle of life and death at the odds once again, a bitter war that will never be won by either side. So, remember back then where, you know what, why not? Let's go into Where Love Lies, because it gets into very interesting territory. Where Love Lies has a really interesting role within the story. Now, it's a very older game, but I still think it's okay to piece together some stuff, because a lot of that I would say is canon. Maybe one day they'll change it up, because I think they mentioned they want to redo that again at some point. But regardless, I would say for the most part it's pretty canon probably would just have a few things change within it. But anyways, you get to the point of the game. And, well, before I say this, spoilers for Where Love Lies. If you don't want to listen to that, you should not listen. Actually, let me do a timestamp real quick before I do this, just in case. Let's just say 4010, just so I can remember. This is episode 190. Okay, so if you don't want to listen, that's fine. Go to the comment section below, timestamp there, skip ahead. Yeah, okay. So go back to Where Love Lies at the very end of the game, where you are seeing your place burn to the ground. People were going after Talia, your wife, because you played as Kata, and they talked about a person in a cloak. Now, you know that Clear had a big role in a lot of that kind of stuff, but who was the person in the cloak? Had to be somebody. We go back to potentially Indred, Vitus. Could have been Clear. It could be somebody else in general. I don't know. But it is interesting to point out how the envoy here, sorry, the admin here, is saying, hey, death is our natural enemy. Vitus is the definition of death. We learned that during the end of, Karma Files. So it's just one of those things that it makes me connect it to Vitus being the one. Now, it may not be directly Vitus, but more so him sending other people that, he's manipulated and molded and playing the role of stopping this. Go back to what he's done to Anju. Look back at what he's done to Gira. Remember how during that quest that he was just like a baby boy down within a voidal chasm. The one side quest where there was that one construction worker looking for his wife Helena. We sent him back to look for his wife in the voidal chasm. He mentioned, I lost a child. Gira is that child. And he was molded by Indred for a period of time. There came a point that, Indred was gone. And remember, this is after the calamity, by the way. This is after everything went down. We still don't know where Indred is. He's somewhere else. But at one point, he was still roaming around Avium, scheming, doing his thing. He married Narcissa and, had, Gira with them at the time. Well, his name wasn't Gira, but you get the point. Gira is like a fake name by Team Zen, but I think his name was like Gregory or something, but not important. You see that happen, and you see like the ghost thing around him, but when he breaks into 1,000 pieces, of course still talking about Gira here, at the top of Valor, it's gone. Go back to not Karma Files, but right before we get into Karma Files, that battle against Gira, where he's like, I should be mad, I should be angry, I thought battling you would reignite that fire, but it's gone. What happened? Where is that anger that I once had? And it's just something that's interesting, just tying it back to Indred. I know Team Zen is a big thing. It is. I know learning all sorts of things about Varaya is a big thing. But there's still the elephant in the room. Vitus, where is he? He's still out there. With what he's done to Anju and so many other people. Is he just in a different world, a different dimension? Go back to when what am I trying to say? It's I lost it in my mind. I forgot I was gonna go into something about that. Right. I think it was like chapter 3, chapter 4, whenever you go through, no, chapter 4, sorry, through, Narcissa's, storyline and all that kind of stuff. You go down to the Wispy Tower, you learn that he had the secret place underneath the tower itself, and you learn about this, like, different world where, if I can reach this and get there, I can pretty much be immortal. I cannot be touched. I don't remember exactly what the dialogue or the computer said there, but it was something of the sort where it talked about Hoopa and all these other components as well. So yeah, just something that is interesting to think about. I'll stop there with the rant, so yeah. Okay, we are out of my rants and spoiler stuff, so I can go on and on about it, but we'll stop there. Nothing. Do you remember what I said to Vivian before we battled? This sanctuary is the home of the envoys, whether it be in life or death. This was not an exaggeration. One final method adopted by a similar program. When an envoy dies, their soul returns to this terminal where it is sorted. We then take the best attributes from the deceased envoy and extract it for the next envoy down the line, and in doing so eventually would come to the most perfect envoy ever created. The accumulation of the program's success, Vivian, she was the perfect subject, her earth sense was like no other, and to learn that she entangled herself in a cycle of death and rebirth, the councils and I were pleased. So if you're confused about that, go back to the Doom timeline arc where she sacrificed herself. The spell got interrupted by Gardevoir. She did not want Vivian to fully stop Storm 9, what Indred was planning to do. And in doing so, a part of it was weakened. Storm 9 did not wipe out everything. However, while it still did a lot of damage, of course, it didn't wipe everything out is what I'm trying to say. But in doing that interrupting thing with what Gardevoir did, it caused the thing by her giving up so much, her life even, to make this happen. You know, what is it? The equivalent exchange, I think is what it's called, where she gave so much, she got a ton of return. Every time she dies, a new being is rebirthed from the earth. The cycle continues. So in a sense, Vivian is gone, but in a sense, she also isn't gone either. She lives within Talia, and then Talia and Vivian live within Alita. Now, of course, Alita is her own person, absolutely. But in some way, shape, and form, a part of them is still within her. They gave her what they have learned and trained throughout the years and have guided Alita throughout the story. So that's what the admin is saying here. When I learned that that happened, that accident went down, I was happy, because that means that she, despite her being gone, technically can still live on. Not all hope is lost for what we've created here. The councils and I were pleased. Our perfect specimen would return for eternity, time and time again, each and every version of herself being better than the one prior, a being that escaped the grasp of death. But unfortunately, that curse was broken by you and Aaron. Right, so remember, we go through the story where she gets all evil and whatnot because of her messing around with the Griffin Sanctuary and whatnot. We had to break the ties that were all around her, and that's why, you know, Aaron Soda and all of us worked together to stop that from happening. So, you know, in a sense, that's kind of why that all went down. And you know, it's also kind of cool. Picture this and think about this for a moment. Yes, she is connected to Regirock, but what if in a sense I can, it's a stretch what I'm about to say. What if like the rift is like, hey, we're gonna like fuse together and whatnot. I don't want you stopping this. And it turned into, you know, that Rift Alita trying to stop it, because not only is it just like evil, full of like Griffin hatred and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Well, Griffin hatred's the wrong kind of word, but you get what I mean. It was a curse, pretty much, the Griffin curse. But like the system, the admin is like, I don't want you to stop this because, yeah, she's mad, she's grumpy, but she gets to live forever. Don't unchain this, please. Like, we got something good going here. Yes, it's a stretch, but it is kind of interesting to add that into the equation as well. But unfortunately, that curse was broken by you and Aaron. And now we are left with a vulnerable envoy again, Alita. As of now, she exceeds Vivian by an incomparable amount. The potential her lineage could have had was wasted because of you. You cannot begin to understand my rage. Countless lives are lost because of you. Imagine my lividness when somehow the seal that was never meant to be broken broke. Like vermin, you appear where you are not wanted. Like vermin, you will not cease until you are eliminated. For the future of the contingency program, I cannot allow you to live. Like our envoys, a dead interceptor just means that another one will be made to take its place, and you have lost the right to take that title. Be gone. And that's something that's interesting that he says at the final there. No matter what, if you die, boo-hoo, I guess, somebody else will take your spot. It is the nature and the cycle of the world that we live in. Admin drew power deep from the earth. Now, this is the battle that I was referring to. If I am not mistaken, you cannot beat this thing. It is not meant to be beaten, at least that I know of. So, if I'm not mistaken from a comment a long time ago, the best thing to do is to run and not even fight. Useless. You are a failure of an interceptor. You've done nothing but muck up our own contingency plans. Countless lives that could have been prevented due to Vivian's curse are now in jeopardy. Then, what shall you do? That's interesting, because I thought... Let me look at the guide, because I thought there's a thing that it gives you like some sort of like dialogue if you run away. At least I thought, I remember something of the sort, and I think I read it as well on the guide here. Let me look. Let's see, it should be quest at the very bottom. Okay, Vivian's regrets here. Proceed forward, interact with the next crystal, walk over, capture the Regirock. After capturing Regirock, you'll battle against the adamant. You cannot win this fight. I tried. It is literally impossible. Lose or flee to continue. You are given the option to either destroy the terminal or leave it. Read the dialogue, it's important. Oh, maybe I'm overthinking this. I don't know why. I thought there was some sort of like dialogue that you get that's a little bit different if you don't like attack and then you just leave. Maybe I'm just wrong on that then. This effigy will soon crumble away to nothing, and the future of the sanctuary will be in your hands. Leave, and in the inevitable death of Alita, however it may occur, will result in new life in the sanctuary, or destroy the terminal. In doing so, the souls of the past envoys shall be set free, but as a result, no more envoy shall be born, and the earth will have to fend for itself. The predictions of the future disasters and catalysms, however you say that, will be gone. Lives will be lost from this. And know that if you leave this room before making a choice, that will be it. The seal will be reinstated. Your decision right now is final. I am interested to see just what you will do. Hey, Alita. So, it's a really difficult thing. It is. Because I don't know. I don't know what the logical choice is. Leaving and letting it do its thing, it makes sense. Destroying the terminal makes sense too. Free the souls. Alita is not really, shackled to this whole thing any longer. And that's that. Well, to be fair, she's not really shackled. I mean, yes and no to like an extent. The thing is, Vivian, Talia, Alita, the thing that they had going on, now being broken, it's no longer going to be them. if a new envoy appears, and let's say something happens to Alita, unfortunately, because again, we don't know what the future will hold and bring. That actually made me kind of think of something because of the Renegade route. Because if something happens to her on the Renegade route, and if we don't do this quest, does a new envoy up and appear? I guess technically, yeah. But again, it would take like years before get them to be, you know, of age to actually fend for themselves, right? Anyways, enough of me overthinking about the Renegade route. The thing is, like, it won't be from, you know, Vivian anymore. It won't be from Taylor. It won't be from Alita. If she dies in whatever way she does, then it'll be a whole new envoy, not even connected to Alita. I know on the normal mode series, I decided to free the souls. And normally, with this one, I've kind of, not with everything, a lot of it I've done mostly similar, but some I kind of do a little bit differently. I think I'm going to go with the same path that I did before. I just feel that it's only right to free them. I don't know what it is. It could be the biggest blunder that I've done in this entire game. Probably so. But if we're going to work towards a future where we're going to create a miracle and we're going to somehow make the impossible possible, then we need to just have that hope that it will work out. Thanks, Alon, for everything. Because of you, the souls of the envoys have been set free, but I wonder if this was truly the right thing to do. My duty is to protect life, to give life and maintain it. So I want to ask you, Alon, why did you destroy the terminal? Now, I will say this immediately. These two instantaneously, I believe, give you like minus 999 friendship points with Nimra. So, yeah, if for whatever reason you're on the Paragon route and you just want to do it, then I guess you can. Let me at least like look at the points just in case. I'm pretty sure that's like a thing. Let me see. Side quest. Yes, if Nimra asks you why you destroyed the envoys, to destroy Earth is 999, despite the admin is 999, so yeah, both of those you pretty much lose all points with her. Save Alita from her fate, envoys were mistreated. So the reality of it is it's kind of like a mix of both in my eyes, but regardless, I think we'll go with the second one. To save Alita from her fate. Alita thought she was free from her fate of reincarnation, but in reality, no. I guess I wouldn't exactly call it reincarnation. Envoys are not reincarnated, but they do take traits from the ones before them. In a way, each envoy is carrying on the legacy of the previous. If the terminal had been kept intact, Alita wouldn't have been able to move on, and that's why you destroyed it. I see. I'm afraid this is where I must disagree with your decision, but it was not my decision to make, and therefore I have no say in anything. I wanted to confess something to you. This facility, it was being enabled by me. When an envoy is complete with their training and finally rebels against the admin, I am the one who appears and escorts them to the surface. It is because I want to maintain the life of each and every soul I can. but with tragedy and death being persistent in every corner, I've had to make tough decisions. One day, you'll be in that position too, and I hope things are easier for you then. Certainly hope so too. Probably not though, because there's definitely going to be a lot of wild things happening from here on out. Now, I have thought about going through like the different like dialogues and whatnot. I don't think I'm gonna do that on this one, mainly because I've already done it before on the normal mode series. I probably sound a lot more cringe and dumb because that was like years ago, but I kind of already gone through that, so I don't think I'll really bother redoing all of that again. Probably should, but that's okay. I made my decision and I want to stick with that. I think with that being said and done, I think that's it for today's episode. Definitely went through these quests a lot more quickly than anticipated. I thought it would have been a little bit longer, but no, about an hour for each one, I would say. Yeah. It's just like a lot to take in, you know, going through what Hazuki went through, Andrew, and even Vivian. Really, really amazing quest overall. With that being said and done, that'll be it for today's episode. To go over the other videos that I plan to do, I'll re-say it again here. Next up is going to be the Missing Children quest. We started that once we got into... well, not immediately when we got into Grand Dream City, but at some point we did that and started that, and then we got to a stopping point, and now we're pretty much going to pick that up. This next episode, getting into Missing Children, will likely have 2 to 3 parts because of just how lengthy the quest is in general, so do keep that in mind. I should have stuff titled for it, if I'm not mistaken, so yeah. Oh, I did not mean to do that, but yeah. Anyways, we'll stop there. Next episode, we'll get into all of this, and it'll be a few more episodes of that once we wrap up this quest here. Now, it is an ongoing quest, so once we complete it at the point that it can no longer be, you know, continued on, we'll get into the Xenogene quest. That's the movie quest that Zumi made, and that'll be probably like 3 or 4 parts because that's a very lengthy quest. So yeah, once we get that done, that's pretty much it for all of the side quests within Pokemon Rejuvenation that I at least know of, and by going by the guide here. Right, as I said before, I will at some point when I get the time farm some black prisms to do the Necrozma event. It'll be a while because again it just takes a lot of time to do that, but I will get it done at some given point and post some sort of video of me going through that. And then again I'll go through the Spacia and Timba battle again to redo that without any of the bugs and whatnot, with not using Gone or anything like that. And then a theory video going over, you know, Team Zen, Madam X's identity, the goals, and maybe a mix of few stuff. I think I brought it before. I plan to only do like one Madam X identity theory video and not an overview of the entire game, mainly because it's hard to jam pack everything into one video. So I think we'll just keep it more so a Team Zen kind of video, and then of course wrap in some other stuff here and there within that episode. So yeah, and it will be a while before I get that going because I really want to actually have my thoughts, you know, figured out and organized on paper so I can kind of go in order on my thoughts and feelings. So yeah. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care of yourselves out there, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Good morning.